All right. So, as we are now into Black Professionals Month, we are celebrating Black professional excellence. It's all about being able to enhance your career, your business, and your lifestyle. You're going to step up, stand out, break through into higher roles of leadership, as well as generating sustained wealth. As we connect, collaborate, we'll build a trusted community all across the globe of Black professionals who are helping each other get to the next level. Today, we are going to hear from Dr. Cassandra Enriquez, and we heard from her husband a couple of days ago, and both of them just blow it away all the time. She is going to tell us how to love yourself while building your empire. She's a love coach for professional women. She also has the Real Love Network, and she has decided that she was going to let a couple of brothers in here and figure out how we can be part of the Love Network, even though we're not professional women. But maybe professional women might appreciate a brother who's going to be learning and getting some professional coaching about how to be lovers. That way that y'all don't have to train us as much because we'll come already ready because we've been with the love coach, Coach Cassandra Enriquez. When love eludes you, there is only one woman who can help you capture it, and she is Dr. Cassandra Coach Cash Enriquez, an intuitive love coach and matchmaker for successful women. With InspireMany.com, Coach Cass sets stages aflame as an in-demand speaker and as a TEDx presenter. The creator of the Love Deck, dating conversation cards, her voice has graced the airwaves weekly on the #1 radio show in South Florida, and she's hosted the television show Fiscally Fit. Coach Cass chronicled and has been chronicled and featured by Women's Day, Fast Company, Washington Post, Forbes, and Black Enterprise, to name a few. Best-selling author of Princess Zara's Birthday Tradition, you can often find her relaxing on the beach with her husband Andy and daughter Ava, jamming to reggae vibes. Join her in the premier private community for single professional women, the Real Love Network.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to present and introduce the next speaker who you will hear, Coach Cass. Coach Cass, it's all yours.
Thank you so much for having me. Black Professionals Month. Yes. Oh my goodness. So thank you, Hutch. Thank you, Denise, for having me because this is cool. This is really cool. And when Hutch called me, I said, you know what? I am there. Good brother, I am there. So whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, what's up? I'm Coach Cass. And today we're talking about love. Loving yourself first, right? The thing that I find is that too often we're so focused on love that's out there versus the love that's within. And we really need to start with the love within in order to do all the things we want. Because I understand, right? You're building your empire. You're getting to that next ladder in your career. You're doing all the things. But when you come home at night, wouldn't it be nice to have your feet rubbed? Wouldn't it be nice to have your back rubbed? But first, we have to make sure that we are in a good place to even explore other scenarios. So whether you are single, in a relationship, it's complicated, or married, this presentation is for you because we can all learn how to love ourselves better. Can I get a yes, yes? Mm-hmm. Yes. Amen. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and hopefully all of this will go well, right? These are the things. These are the things when it comes to our wonderful
the world of Zoom.
Exactly. Our wonderful world of Zoom. So welcome. So how to love yourself while building your empire. But before we even get started, I want to take a moment for you to pause because more than likely you have zoomed through this day. You've been sitting through workshops. You've been doing many things. You have so many things on your mind, right? Your phone is going off, your email. I want you to take a moment to breathe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little music. And what I want you to do while I play the music, I'm going to walk you through some breathing. Okay. And in this breathing, what's going to happen is we're going to make a box. I literally want you to think of a box when you're breathing. And what's going to happen is you're going to breathe in for 4. You're going to hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, and then hold it out for 4. Okay. Some of you are like, I've never done this in my life. It's okay. We're going to do it about 6 times. So by then you should get it together by then. Okay. So are we in? Are you guys ready? All right, here we go. So I'm going to play the music. All right. So I want you to take a moment and put your feet on the floor, your hands on your knees. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and go. We're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. And just when you take a deep, deep breath, breathe in and breathe out. I want you to just wiggle, 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 and shake it off. Today is a good day. And the fact that you are here means something. It means you're of a growth mindset. It means that you want more in your life. And that more should really start with you. Starting with the love that's within you and remembering what that love is. And one of the biggest words for me, let me tell y'all, one of the biggest words for me have been boundaries this year. Y'all been talking about some boundaries this year. I realize too often we teach people how to treat us. And a part of that is through my story. So once upon a time, I was dating a guy that I thought was the one. You guys ever thought somebody was the one before? So we were dating and talking about a future and a hope, right? This was the man for me. Yes, for my guys out here, you ever thought a woman was the one? So we were talking about a future, like this is it. This is going to be the time. I'm going to marry this person. And I remember one Christmas Eve, I got a phone call from a mutual friend. I said, oh, hey, what's up? He goes, are you sitting? No, but I can sit. What happened? He's married. Who's married? The man that you thought you were building a future with. The person you said you were going to marry. The person that you thought was the one. My heart shattered, y'all, into a million pieces. And I was really in a really dark space. I kept dating though. The wrong one after the wrong one. You ever feel like that after the wrong one? You're like, man, am I ever gonna get this right? And so for me, I remember drawing a line in the sand, but I drew it behind me because I said, I'm not gonna go back. I'm not gonna go back. I'm gonna go forward. And so I decided on that day that I was going to become a student of love. So I read every book that I could when it came to love. I ate, I slept, I breathed, I sang about love, like I'm gonna get this right. I started to interview couples that had been married for over 25 years, but still liked each other. Y'all know some grumpy married people, right? It's like, y'all are not selling this thing at all. And then I interviewed successful women who were successful in business and in love, because a part of me felt like you couldn't do the both of them at the same time. So all of that, looking at all of that and doing my own personal work really brought me to my amazing husband, Andy, which you guys did meet in a previous presentation. And now we have a beautiful family. And the thing that I realize is way too often that mainly professional women are focused on one of two things. One, so focused on work and career and impact and kids that they forget about love, right? Like what's going on here? And then on the other side, there's that woman that's like in the back closet praying for her Boaz. Like, Lord, bring my Boaz. That might be him now, right? So bring my Boaz, God. But at the same time, Ruth was out there in the field. Okay. If y'all know the story, Ruth wasn't just in her back house with her mother-in-law. No, she was out in the field. She laid down at his feet. Okay. So he had to trip over her to get to the bathroom. So listen, okay, you got to do something. And that's really where the Real Love Network was born, the organization that I've formed to really support professional women in their love journey. Like, you ain't got to do this by yourself. And because of that, I've been featured in Essence, Woman's Day. I was on the #1 show on Hot 105. So it's just been a beautiful journey. All of that to say, I know what I'm talking about, right? And so we are going to start now with how to love yourself in this process. And #1, in loving yourself while building your empire, is to set clear boundaries. Set clear boundaries. If you have a sheet of paper right now, hopefully you do. If you don't, you could write on your hand. If you don't, you could put it in the notes section on your phone. I'd rather you not look on your phone. Put your phone in airplane mode so you pay attention, right? So set clear boundaries. I want you to make a line. And on one side, I want you to put okay, not okay. Y'all got that? So we're putting a line down the middle of the sheet. And on one side, it's okay. And the other side is not okay. Okay. And I want you to start to think about what's okay and what's not okay in your life. And I'm going to say the different areas. Okay. Y'all ready? And I just want you to very instantaneously put them on either side, right? Finances. Okay. Not okay. Health. Okay. Not okay. Travel. Okay, not okay. Joy, okay, not okay. Faith, okay, not okay. Relationship, okay, not okay. What are some of the things that are not okay? And more than likely, there is a boundary that needs to be set. So for some of you, you might think to yourself, well, I do have this one colleague or this one cousin that keeps trying to access me at all times of night. I'm not okay with this. Or you have someone else in your life that is overstepping a boundary. Like, where in your life right now, there needs to be a clear boundary set. Maybe it's your work. Maybe you find yourself working at midnight. I'm not looking at anybody, right? Right? So what would it mean for you to set that boundary with yourself that I am going to shut the laptop? I'm going to shut my phone. I'm going to turn my brain off and just relax. How often do you relax? I have some folks shaking heads like, what's that? What is relax? I don't know what relax is. So I want you to write down right now, okay, what's not okay? What's not okay? Do you have any leisure in your life? Do you have fun? What is that? Right? Setting clear boundaries. What are some clear boundaries? What is one clear boundary that is just like blinking lights right now for you? What is one clear boundary that's saying, yep, you're right. You're right, Coach Cass. This is definitely not it. This is not it. What is the one clear boundary that's coming up for you right now? Is it a boundary with yourself or is it a boundary with someone else? Right? Are there certain family members that have gotten too loosey-goosey with their access to you? So now they're calling on you for everything. That happens so often, right? It's like you become that one person in your family that everybody calls for advice just because you're smart. But really, do you have to solve every single problem at the drop of the dime? Is it the access to the phone or the email, right? Sometimes we train our clients of how they should be treated. So what does that mean? A client calls you at 3 a.m. for an emergency, 12 p.m., 12 a.m. Like, is there any clear boundaries with your clients of when they can access you? It's time to protect your peace. What is disturbing your peace? I want you to write it down right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate you in really quick breakout rooms for 5 minutes. Okay, for 5 minutes. And so what's going to happen, there's only going to be about 2 of you in each breakout room. And I want you to be honest. Like, what is the one thing you really need to set a boundary around? And I want you to talk to each other. Okay. And then I'm going to bring you back. When I close the room, it's going to say you have 60 seconds. You could take the 60 seconds and come on back. So you're going to have 5 minutes. You guys got it? Put your 5 up. Let me see your 5. Okay, you got 5 minutes to talk about what is the one clear boundary. And does that conversation need to happen with you or with somebody else? And when are you going to do it? I want this to be an actionable conversation. Okay, so we're going to have an actionable conversation about the one thing that you could do now to set a boundary to enhance the love of yourself in your life. Okay, so you should see something right now that comes up.
All right.
Ay, ay, ay. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Oh, yeah. So who would like to share a takeaway from that exercise? Just go ahead and unmute and I will bring you here. Is that Sam?
Yes, this is Sam. So
All
my
right.
takeaway from the exercise is that I'm in a unique business where it's hard to create the boundaries that I need to create. But if I want to grow and scale, I'm going to have to do that. It's something that I've recognized over the last few weeks as I was talking to Jerome. I'm a real estate developer and a principal real estate broker. We do projects all over the United States. We're focused on Selma, Alabama. We believe Selma is ground zero for African-American opportunity. The city has been left behind. So people call me all times of night with opportunities, investments, and things that the city needs. So I have to find a way to turn it off.
Okay. So for those of you in the audience that might have some ideas of how Sam can set up systems, please put it in the chat and then maybe you could read them while we're here. Okay, Sam, because I believe in systems and automation. So if people are often sending you opportunities, is there a website to be created? Is there an email catch-all? Is there an assistant that needs to be hired that can siphon what's a good opportunity versus just straight trash? So those are just some of the things that are coming up for me, but I know that we have some really good minds in here that maybe can help with this situation. And remember, you do not have to take anybody's advice, but these are all, just experience shares of what may be helpful. So check that out in the chat. Thank you, Sam, for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I see you. I hear you. And just for those who don't know, that's something I often say in my presentations. I use it within my network, my Real Love Network, because too often do we go through life unseen and unheard, right? So you might be surrounded by thousands of people. A lot of you know some folks, but how often do we come home and you could live with somebody, you could lay next to somebody and still feel unseen and unheard. So this space that I have created here through the Black Professionals Month, I just want to say, you're seen and you're heard. Anybody else want to share something that they took away from that exercise? Denise, I see you're unmuted, so now I put you on the spot.
Well, I was on with Johnny and Sinclair, and we were talking about how, especially during Black Professionals Month, I have no boundaries, as you guys heard about Sam saying he was emailing me at midnight. I was emailing him back because that's what I'm doing, because I want to make sure I'm being responsive. However, it doesn't only happen during Black Professionals Month. That is a little outlier, but Sinclair had an idea. He said, you should have 2 phones. Because I said, I get phone calls. I have kids. I have a daughter in Austin, a son in Chicago. My elderly parents, my aging parents are in Cincinnati. So I don't want to turn off my phone because I could get emergency phone calls. So Sinclair said, you should have 2 phones. I said, well, actually, I do have 2 phones. I have a personal cell and a business cell. He said, then turn off your business cell. I said, oh my gosh, you're right. I've never even thought about doing that. So I'm going to do that. I have, because only my close friends, family have my personal cell, unless I give it to business for emergencies. But yeah, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to turn off thank you, Sinclair. I'm going to turn off my work cell after a certain time. And, people will get me when I turn on my phone and listen to my voicemail the next day. All right.
That's it. That's it. Congratulations, Denise. Yes to the breakthrough. Yes to taking your time back. So there's a book, 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss, right? And one of the things that Timothy Ferriss talks about is, like, for him, he has an automatic email that goes to everyone that emails him. When he wrote that book, I don't know if that's still the case now, right? This years ago, but he says, I check my emails at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., right? So pretty much don't expect back as soon as you send a thing to get a response. I think we've come to a microwave society, right, guys? I have a girlfriend that got a proposal email. Then the person sent her a text. They sent her a Facebook message, and they sent her one more thing, like an Instagram message. It was just like, is this a little bit too much? Right? Like, okay, I got it. Right? You send in all these things. We come to this place that we want the response right away. We have to treat or train people how to treat us and what we accept. So Denise, I applaud you for saying you're going to turn off your work phone, but on your voicemail, you could also say, hey, after 8 p.m., you can't reach me, but I will definitely either listen to my voicemails in the morning or text is better. You see, for me, I like text because you're going to say exactly what you need in that text message. And sometimes the long drawn out story in the voicemail is not working for me, right? So send me a text. It's easier for me to get back to you. And if it warrants a phone call, I'll give you a phone call back, so just looking at what's feasible for you and your time frame and what makes you happy. I know some people are phone people and some people are not. I'm not, right? So these are just some of the things. And then with your family, there's a thing on the do not disturb, and this is for everybody. If you put your phone on do not disturb, if anyone calls you twice, it'll ring. So you won't miss an emergency call, because if it's an emergency, they'll call more than once. So then that's just something for you, because in the last 20 years, how many emergency calls did you really get? Probably one, maybe, right? And so we kind of stress over this figment of emergency, and then we're allowing all these other chimes and rings to come through that are disturbing our peace. So I invite you and everyone else here to take a look at that. The do not disturb between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. and say to yourself, okay, if somebody calls twice, then allow it to ring. But other than that, we have too many chimes. So thank you. I see you. I hear you, Denise. And this is hitting home for me because recently I went to New York. My grand aunt passed away. So I was in New York with my mom. My mom lives by herself, right, y'all? So she's used to how she does stuff. She wakes up at 7. She calls my grandmother in Jamaica on speakerphone. Doesn't matter who's sleeping because she's not used to anybody being in her house. Anyway, so in the middle of the night, you just hear bring, bring. It was all like the spam email messages and the wind outside of my grandmother's security camera. I said, oh no, this is not it. So I had to show her, like, you could turn these things off at night so they're not waking you up or waking me up. But these are the things, these are the boundaries we need to start to set. And for those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about how to love yourself while building an empire. And step 1 is setting boundaries, looking at what's okay versus what's not okay in your life and being real about it. What are boundaries you need to set with yourself? Right? Like eating pizza at midnight or bonbons. I don't even know if bonbons are a thing. I've actually never seen a bonbon, but they talk about bonbons, but you know what I'm saying? Candy, chocolate, whatever, your vice at night that you're like, I don't know why I keep gaining weight, but you have that secret stash of food underneath your bed. What are some boundaries, clear boundaries that we need to set with ourselves and then with others? Who is crossing the line? For instance, I had an opportunity to be a part of an app. Okay, we all get opportunities. Sam just talked about opportunities. It was a fabulous app, but at the end of the day, what they were asking me to do did not bring me joy. So even if that app ends up being the next whatever, right? Insert favorite app here, I'd be there dragging and upset just doing my part. So I said, no, thank you. And I struggled with that because I was like, wow, this is a really great opportunity, but I'd hate every step of my part. Let's not do it. So just more and more, it's becoming in tune with your own gut instinct of what brings me joy? What do I enjoy doing? And then say yes to those things and outsource the rest. Okay, y'all tweet that. I need you to tweet that, email that, all the things. Say yes to the things that bring you joy and outsource the rest of it. Hire somebody. And if you don't know who to hire, contact Hutch and Denise. They could find somebody for you. Okay, here we go. Moving along. Step 2. So self-love means having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. Self-love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. Self-love means not settling for less than you deserve, right? So Dr. Andrea Brandt said that, right? So what are we looking at?
Are we supposed to be seeing something here? I don't know.
Oh, you're not seeing anything? Oh, I'm just not even sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. See, technology, gotta love it. All right, tell me if you see something now.
Looks like
No?
it looks like it's looking for something.
Yeah, it comes up for a second and then it disappears.
It's like a dot moving around like it's looking for something. Yeah, that's
so weird. Okay. I'm gonna try this one more time and then you guys just gonna have to look at my face the whole time. You see something?
It comes up for a second, then disappears. Maybe you can send us a link in the chat and we can pull it up that way or something.
Huh. This makes me so sad. Okay. All right. Well, so right now, you guys are just gonna have to pay attention a lot.
do that.
Okay. Huh?
We can do that.
No
Okay,
problem.
yes. All right. So there we go. So self-love means not settling for less than you deserve. So what is it?
Come on.
Go ahead and mute guys, mute. So step 2 is silencing your inner critic. Statistics show that almost 90% of our thoughts are negative. Ugh, right? And 85% of those thoughts repeat every single day. So many of you have probably seen Finding Nemo, forced or not. And there's this little fish called Dory, and Dory doesn't remember anything. Literally, she say, "Hi, I'm Dory." Turn around. "Hi, I'm Dory. Hi, I'm Dory." Those are your thoughts over and over and over again. And we have this inner critic that is just nasty. Listen to me. You do not need enemies when you have yourself. So how do you start to silence your inner critic? I want you to think right now, what is one thought that you constantly have in your mind? And just write it down. You don't have to say it, but just write down, what is one thought? I had a one-on-one with one of my VIP clients, and after just digging a little deeper, now she is a exec for an association, doing all this D&I work, all these things. And yet she still had the underlying thought of, I am dumb. I am dumb. I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't even heard the word dumb in so long. That feels like preschool words, right? But literally, it came from a place where she actually got kidnapped when she was about 4 years old. And she thought from that point that she was dumb, and she never addressed that scenario. Now, just to go a little bit into that scenario, we helped to spin the perspective on that. She felt like she was dumb because she let a girl get her on a bus and take her necklace. And this girl left her in like the middle of nowhere in her home country of Egypt, right? So this is like a 2.5 world country. She said it's not third world, but not necessarily first world. So 2.5 world country. But she, at 4 years old, recognized the street she was on and that she knew somebody who lived in that house, and they were she knocked on that door and said, "Can you take me home?" And they took her home at 4 years old. I said, wow, look at how smart you were at 4 years old to be in the middle of nowhere, yet recognize your surroundings. I don't know if my 4-year-old could do that, and then make your way home safely. And today you are here to tell that story. Not many can say the same thing. So it was a shift, right? It was a shift. So there are some things that you have in your mind that keep replaying, but you got to look at, if you plan to do this by yourself, but you got to look at, well, where did I first start thinking this? And is that a truth or is that a lie? I'm giving you a lot of homework here, right? So what is the main thing that you keep saying in your mind? And if you can't think about it right now, I invite you over the next 2 days to just have a notebook. And every time you have a thought, write it down, whatever it is, whatever it is. One of the things that I realized I was always thinking of is, what am I missing? That was a thing, because at some point I was working on something and I forgot a major part. So always is, well, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? That's not a good place to be in, because that's a place of scarcity, not a place of abundance. So am I enough, right? Or I'm not enough? What are some of the things that constantly come up in your mind over and over again? So just over the next couple of days, just start to write down every thought, and all the negative ones, I want you to circle, and look at how many times you think that thought, and say to yourself, all right, where did this come from? Really think about that, right? Where did this come from? And is that a truth or is that a lie? And if you still have problems there, just create a positive thought to counteract it. So if the main thought is, I am not enough, I want you to then say, I am enough every time you think that thought. I am not enough. I am enough, right? It's like an override in the system. We got to put something new in your hard drive. But the only way that happens is by you attacking it, because only you know what's going on in between your mind. I know for a fact that all of you show up confident as anything else, right? In a boardroom to wherever, here I am. But that doesn't mean that's what's going on in your mind. So silence your inner critic. 1, take a look at what your thoughts have been. 2, where did those thoughts come from? Where's the truth and the lie? And then 3, create a counter statement. What is the counter statement? And repeat that every time that thought comes up. Okay, so this is an ongoing assignment. And I want you guys to Instagram me, Facebook me, LinkedIn me, whatever you got to do to tell me how it's going. Okay, come Monday, how'd you do? Was it hard? Was it easy? Was it like landmines everywhere? I want to know all the things. Okay. All right, boom. So success does not bring happiness, but happiness brings success. So no matter how much money you make, statistics show it's increased. Before it was 75,000, but now it's 85,000. So they say pretty much your happiness connected to money is capped at $85,000. And after that, there's no more happiness to experience. You could create wonderful experiences, but when they say a happiness meter, it doesn't move with stuff. So you really have to look within to say, well, what is it on a daily basis I can do to increase my happiness? So number 3, okay, so number 1 was what? Number 1 was set clear boundaries. Number 2 is silence your inner critic. And number 3 is acknowledge your efforts. We call this the ego file, right? So in your career, having something that those nice emails, those nice text messages, those nice things that someone says to you, put it in a file that you could look back on when you start to doubt yourself, like, nah, man, I've been here before. I do this, right? So this can be done with your career, but this can also be done with your personal life. Sometimes we feel like, man, I keep messing up when it comes to my relationship with my moms, my cousins, my loved ones, my romantic interests, whatever it is. But at some point you have had success in your relationship. So I also invite you to create an ego list for those things. What are things that you have done well? And reflect on those things, right? When you feel down, when you're like, I don't know if I could go anymore, reflect on those things. Because what I realize is we're too hard on ourselves. Too hard. We're absolutely too hard on ourselves. So take a moment, take the time to acknowledge your effort on a daily basis. So for some of you, you have that to-do list that has like 57 things on it. And come midnight, you're like, man, I crossed off about 3. Acknowledge your efforts. You did those 3 things. Okay, you didn't do the 57, but maybe it's time to hire somebody, right? Maybe it's time to expand what you've been doing. Maybe it's time to ask for help. Help does not equal weakness. I'll say that again. Help does not equal weakness. It's smart, okay? Help is smart. Number 4, create a night and morning routine to nourish you. What are you doing? So for instance, I'm not really the best morning person. I know I'm very bubbly. For those of you who know me, I'm usually on 10, but in the morning, I'm a slow start, right? Like I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to talk to nobody, leave me alone, right? So create a night and morning routine. So for me at night, it's so important to look at. So for my night owls, they judge night owls. Early bird gets the worm, wake up 5 a.m. You always get all the praise, all you morning people, but the nighttime people, we get a bad rap. So what you can do before you go to sleep is set your agenda for the next day, set your to-do list for the next day. Look at what you're grateful for that current day. Those are some of the things that you can put into play at night. And in the morning, same thing. Now, I went to Tony Robbins, UPW. If you've never been, it's a great experience. But one of the things, this man has energy times 50, like times 500. He'll go for 16 hours straight. It's just like, when do you pee, sir? This is crazy. So anyway, one of the things that he shared is that when he wakes up, he drinks alkaline water, which literally is water with some lemon in it. And he jumps on a mini trampoline for a minute or 2. He's like, it shocks your system. It gets your morning going. And I'll tell you, that is just a beautiful thing. Like, how often do we not get moving in a day. So just imagine drinking water, a glass of water, and then jumping up and down. If you don't have a mini rebounder is what it's called, or a mini trampoline, do some jumping jacks. If you can't do jumping jacks because of limitations mobile wise, just raise your hands and do your feet, you know, the modification version, but literally get moving each and every day. And then gratitude, the most successful people, the happiest people, think about what they're grateful for on a daily basis, and not just health, air, and family, but some of the specific things. I enjoyed that one moment of laughter I got to hear from my client, from my cousin, from my daughter, right? I appreciated that coffee where I was able to look out and just see the beautiful sky. Like get into it, right? So 3 things every single day, what you are grateful for, creating that night and morning routine. And for those of you that have a night and morning routine, I want you to drop it in the chat right now. What's something that you absolutely do every single day as a part of your night and morning routine that has been serving you? Because I'm nosy and so is everybody else here. You know, we want to know what you guys have been doing in your night and morning routine. I want to know, tell me, I'm just nosy. All right, so I see you guys typing. All right, so while you type, I'll move on and we'll come back, okay? So a night and morning routine. And number 5 is make time for love. For some of you, you're in a relationship. And for some of you, you're not. At the same time, wherever you are, you need to make time for love. So loving yourself is where it all starts. That's what we're talking about here. How do you make time for yourself? What do you love to do? So for me, I love bike riding. But for some reason, I wasn't making it out of my condo because then I'd have to get my bike out of the bike rack. That was hard. And then I'd have to go on the street. And in South Florida, they don't know what a pedestrian is. So they are not looking for pedestrians. I'm out here trying not to die, right? So I'm here, it's a rough situation. So we got the Peloton. And when I tell you I am having fun, loving myself every single day, that is my love time to me, because we have the music, which I'm a big music head, and then I get to ride my bike. Like, it's just a beautiful thing. So how do you make time for loving you? What does that look like on a daily basis? And then now make time for loving others. Who in your life? I want you to pinpoint one person, and I don't know these people, so I want you to drop their name in the chat. Who's one person you've been meaning to love on, been meaning to connect with, been meaning to spend time with, been meaning to call or text? Listen to me. I lost my grandaunt 2 weeks ago, and it just put things in perspective. Like, tomorrow's not promised, especially in these crazy panoramic type of times, right? So in this crazy time with all these crazy things in the streets, like, it's not promised. So for me, one of the declarations I've made on my life is to spend time with people who matter and to show up for people who matter. So my whole family, we flew to New York for my mom to support her. In 2 weeks, I'm flying for my girlfriend who's, picking out her wedding dress, these things, right? Like, these are the things. Like, what are the things that you say matter? So, because some of you are working for your family. Some of you are working to build a legacy. Some of you are working, insert why you're working here. But if you don't spend time with the people now, what does it all matter? Make time for love. Make time for love. So you said in the chat some of your morning routines. I'm going to share some of this. I read Proverbs. Oh, yes. Pray, work out, breakfast, make to-do lists. Oh, you're on it, Sinclair. Prayer and meditation, then you read. All right. I love it, Johnny. Okay. Hutch, water, prayer, and devotion. Yes, yes. Okay. Oh, for some of you, you want to connect with some 98 years old. Yes, exactly. Oh man, Connie said listening to praise and worship music. So here's the thing. I didn't realize how important my Alexa was, okay? My Alexa was broken for like 2 months. And I didn't realize how angry I was. There was like this underlying anger happening. And it wasn't until my Alexa was fixed that I could say, Alexa, play Anthony Evans, and it could play. And how much joy just came in my spirit, So there are just some things that you got to put in place. Yeah, hands up, raise your roof. So there got to be some things that you just put in place for you, okay? So just to review the five steps to really loving yourself while building an empire is 1, set clear boundaries. 2, silence your inner critic. 3, acknowledge your efforts. 4, create a night and morning routine. And 5, make time for love. And for those of you that actually want to stay connected, you could just email me, coach@inspiremany.com. And I'd love to hear your takeaways here. Or if you have any questions, I'd love to have it. I'm here. Oh, Denise says, Alexa keeps me waking up. I love it.
No, I was saying that, I'm sorry, I was trying to do something. No, every time you said her name, because I have her right here.
Oh.
She kept waking, she kept ding, ding, ding. Like,
Right.
no,
I'm not talking to you.
it was funny.
Alexa, play Anthony Evans.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
So does anyone have a question, a comment, a takeaway that they would like to share?
Well, I do have a question. I want to thank you for the presentation. It was outstanding. Definitely going to apply a lot of these techniques and principles. My question is not on what you were talking about. You're from the Caribbean, your family is. So do you have a recipe for jerk chicken?
Walker's wood. Okay, so that is the jerk seasoning that I use. And then this thing called the air fryer. Let me tell y'all, okay, I don't know what life was before the air fryer, but I don't even cook in my oven anymore. Okay, Sam. But when you put just salt, pepper, and some Walker's wood, and you put it in the fridge, you season it up, you rub it down, all the things, right? I like wings. That's my deal. So you put it in a bag, like a plastic bag, right? You put it in a plastic bag, you just let it in there for at least 30 minutes, And then you put those suckers inside the air fryer for 20 minutes, and then you flip them for 5. I'm telling you, perfection.
Wow.
Perfection. Okay.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
Sam, I'll tell you something. When I first moved to South Florida, I was at the barbershop, and the guy says, "Hey, there's a little Jamaican Caribbean store up there. You trying to get some stuff for your jerk?" So I went in there, and the guy gave me the Walker's wood, just like what the guy said. They said, but cut it with some brown sugar and some honey.
Ooh.
Okay. So the sweetness kind of offsets the fire, and it comes out real nice. And plus, that honey kind of helps it to really stick. So yeah, just a little.
All right.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Brown sugar and honey. I'm ready.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Anybody else?
Hey, somebody told me this the other day, and I put it in the chat, and I don't know if anybody paid any attention. You probably just said, "Oh, what does that mean?" And just kept moving. But it said EDMED. Does anybody know what that is? You pronounce it EdMed. So what were you telling everybody to do? Something you have to do what?
A morning routine.
Yeah, so every day, right?
Yeah.
EDMED stands for every day means every day. So admit it, whatever you're doing, admit it.
Right. Yeah, not every other day, not when you feel like it.
Every day
Every
means
day.
every day. So my friend Carl shared that with me here a few weeks ago. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I love it. I'm for it. All right. Well, bam. Well, I appreciate you having me here, Hutch. And for everyone, if you know a professional woman that has everything but the relationship she desires, please send them my way. Okay. I'm at Inspire Many on all social media, and I dropped my email in the chat. How's that?
I just asked one quick question, Coach
Yes.
Kat, chat, and you can send me a separate note if it's going to be too long. But we're at 7 o'clock. But how do you feel? How do you keep from feeling guilty when you don't have enough time with your loved ones because you're working so much? What do you? Mentally, how do you get, so one, I have a boyfriend, he's upstairs because he just went and got his dinner. So he's upstairs and he's been great because I'm working crazy. He works too, but then, he's here and it's Friday night, but he's fine, I think. But I feel guilty because I'm not upstairs with him. Then my daughter called about 2 hours ago, and I was in the thick of working, but I answered the phone because of course it's my daughter, and she could hear my voice, like, okay, you okay? Okay, what's going on? And I just felt like crap. And she wanted to just tell, because it's just quick. But then I felt guilty when I hung up because I felt like I was rushing her. You know what I mean? How do I deal with that?
So what helps that guilt is then calling your daughter back and sharing, right? You know, I feel like I rushed you earlier and I just wanted to call back to see, is everything okay, right? So that helps because the guilt doesn't like disappear after 7, right? So it's gonna go into midnight till tomorrow, blah, blah. So just call her, right? Because your boyfriend not looking for you yet. He doesn't know that you've ended this session. So call her first, right? And just be there, present fully with her, right? And then when you go upstairs, you say, babe, you know, I feel a little guilty that I've been doing this all day, and shut up and hear him, right? Because more than likely he's gonna be like, for what? You have a thing. It's all good. I'm here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's all in our minds, but sometimes it's to address it with the person we're feeling guilty about. You know, I really feel bad that I don't get to spend a lot of time with you. Hey girl, it's all right. We all busy. Let's put something on the calendar, right? Meaning for other people who aren't those two that you just mentioned. But too often do we end up having this conversation in our minds that isn't real. So just have the conversation out loud with the people that you feel guilty with.
Okay, great advice. Thank you.
Yeah. Woo-hoo.
Hey, Cass,
Yo.
earlier I was talking with Sam and he said something, and you guys did a great job in terms of Sinclair, and you were mentioning about, you know, the second phone. And one thing that a friend of mine, she had 2 phones and she got rid of one of her phones because now they have these services where you can get 2 different numbers on the same phone. And so you can, you know, when someone's calling your number, and there's a way for you to know that they're calling you for business or they're calling you for personal. So if not having 2 phones or having 2 phones for whatever reason may be a problem for you, there is a way to do that with one phone. The second thing I wanted to mention was, as Sam was talking about the boundaries, one of the things that I've learned about boundaries is that, first of all, almost everything can wait. There's hardly anything that really has to be done right now. We have gotten into this mode where we feel like if we're not doing it right now, that somehow we're not, you know, we're not on top of it. One of the things that helps you to be able to do that is a relationship with your managing partner. Who's your managing partner? The big guy upstairs. If God's got you, it can wait. Because if he's got you, it's meant for you, it will be there when you're ready to get back to it.
Man, Hutch. Okay, so now you said that, now I'm gonna say something else. All right, so I'm in a women's Bible study, and one of the questions that was posed to us was, how would you live your life if you were truly seeking God on a daily basis? And like that question gave me such a peace, right? Because now it's like, does this line up with my God-given purpose or does it not? You know, and if it doesn't, no, thank you. Right? Like that's it, you know, and it's just like now, so there's no more comparison. There's no more envy. There's no more jealousy. There's no more, oh, I don't know if I can make that go. Whatever it is, it's like when you're pleasing God, you're just in this space of peace. That's just like, wow, if I really keep this in perspective, seek God, not the other stuff, everything else just works out. So I'm with it. I'm with it. That personally has given me a new sense of peace that wasn't there before. Because, you know, sometimes this stuff can get you caught up of what goal you set or where you said you were going to be or whatever thing you put in your own mind. Nobody else is telling you to do these things, right? You want to achieve all 97 things in 3 minutes, but it's just like, wow, I have a newfound peace and it's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Cass, this is Johnny.
Hey,
Thank
Johnny.
you for amazing. Thank you. The one thing that I'll say that is happening for me personally, at least, is that I went to Mexico on a trip and did some things for other people, right?
Oh.
And had a vacation at the same time. We were working with some CEOs and we were moving from success to significance, right? But in the midst of that, what I heard, and even during what we've been doing today, is to make room.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm doing is this concept called ROI, because I do numbers, so that means something to me. So it's to release, to organize, and to intensify my intentions of what I'm believing for, because I can say, yeah, I'm talking about me. I can say yes to things, but now I'm standing there and saying, well, wait a minute. and I have to step back and step away because my heart is to say yes. However, when I say yes to one thing, I have to remember that I am actually saying no to something else. So that's one of the things. So does that, you know, I mean, I know it makes sense to me, but do you get what I'm saying? You
That's
know?
all that matters, is that it makes sense to you. Who am I? I'm a person on a Zoom, right? So as long as it makes sense to you, yes. So if you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. We only have 24 hours in a day, right? So we do take our opportunities not lightly. They're very serious. Whatever it is, it could be from cooking dinner to cleaning to laundry. Listen, I have outsourced so many things in my life so I could do what I want to do, right? And not have to give in to all of these things that the television says that you need to be doing as a woman, as a mate, as a mom, as a daughter, as a cousin, as a coworker, as a colleague, as a boss, whatever it is, you make your own terms. So I'm here for all of it, Johnny. I love it. The ROI.
All right.
Thank
So
you for sharing.
So Cass, sometime over the next, in November, because October is really going to be, I got the boundaries is outside of October for anything that's not Black Professional Month. But in November, I'm taking you and Andy to dinner. Okay.
Woo, we like to eat.
And we're going to talk. And we're going to figure out, I've got 13,000 plus folks in the ICABA network. I suspect that there are a couple of professional women in there. I suspect that there are probably a couple of them who need to kind of get learning how to love themselves while building an empire. We got a bunch of empire builders. Ain't no doubt about that. Okay. And you don't want to lose yourself, because then you built that empire, then you have nobody to share it with, right? So I totally get it. But we're going to figure out how to make that work. But I've been so impressed. This is my first time being in a session with you. I've always loved your spirit. I always knew that you were, as they say, about it. Okay. But I've never actually experienced
about it, baby. About it.
About it, girl.
Love it, love
Hey.
This has been wonderful, Coach Cass. Thank you so much. I mean, it's really opened my eyes to some things. So thank you.
What a way to close Wind Down Fridays on Black Professionals Month.
Totally. Yeah, totally. I'm ready to go get a glass of wine now.
Hey, I'm appreciative that you guys even thought of me, and Hutch, that you put me on your stage without even really seeing me, right? Because sometimes, we kind of pray. people be like, oh, I hope you do me right. So what I'm hearing is that I've done you right. So I appreciate you. And for those of you who are on social media, take a picture, retweet, hashtag, do an Instagram story. Tell somebody about me, and I appreciate you just having me here. Many blessings.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great weekend. Be blessed, and we'll see you next week.
See you tomorrow. No, I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Oh, wait. Yeah. See you tomorrow at BM. What is it? I can't even talk. I guess it must have been that one drink. Go ahead. Close
Wait, didn't I tell Hutch? Did I tell him that one drink? I tried to
get it together, Hutch. Get it together.
Mainstream the top tier.
Yes.
All right.
I will also be talking about servant leadership Sunday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
All right, great.
Okay. All right, guys.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.